Over the past few months, the economy has experienced some tough headwinds.
And we saw the numbers out of Spain yesterday, 5 million people unemployed.
So we've hit that moment where technology is now in your pockets. It's super cheap, it's super good, it's super accessible, it's easy to use. It's time for the hackers to take over.
There's an access to an expanding knowledge and intelligence base.
We expect that within 20 years we'll have 50 billion connected devices on the internet.
It's now that every single one of us, even the smallest teams, can make great impact.
Having the chance to merge with people and help them is the ultimate dream of anyone that is associated with innovation and technology.
And this is the future. Today, you've got ubiquitous access to the cloud, and tomorrow, you're going to have ubiquitous access to space.
What gives me tremendous confidence in the future is the fact that we are now more empowered as individuals to take on the grand challenges of this planet.
What do you think about the video? You like it? Yeah? Or is it like, yeah? Or is it like, wow, that's awesome, or not? What is it? Is it like, is it good or not? Sweet, sweet. All right, cool. All right, so thanks for the introduction, Jacob. I'm Tim, I'm working for Pioneers, as you've seen, and I want to talk today a bit about entering a new age of pioneering and what the whole pioneering thing is about. So what is the future of technology, what is coming ahead of us. And we've seen that's what I really love about Bitspiration here. It's like, we had 2 talks, I think, now about 3D printing. We had 3D printing live on stage as well. It's pretty awesome. That's also what we are focusing on. Because we've positioned ourselves like at the intersection of entrepreneurship and future technologies. Means like not only web mobile, where most of the guys, I think so, are into, like also the startups at the Alley and so on. But it's like, okay, what else is going on there? Like the whole makers movement. Guys who are playing with Arduinos, playing with Raspberry Pi, with MedTech, with AI, robotics, space, and so on. So this is a bit what we are into. Okay, who of you guys is an entrepreneur? So most of you, right. Okay, so tell me, what is the difference between you and all the other guys out there, like living in the other building? What's the difference? Just shoot me the words. Come on. What's the difference between you and all the other guys?
I hate orders.
What are you drinking? Yeah. JD, come on.
I'm a visionary.
Visionary. Okay, give me 2 more words. Visionary? Independent? Crazy. All right. So what I think what is the main difference is like the mindset. It's like you have the mindset, you want to go out there, you have your cool ideas, and you want to just like do it, right? You're a risk taker, aren't you? Are you a risk taker? Maybe, yeah, just like the coffee is really hot, so yeah, I'm a risk taker, I take the step, yeah, right. Okay, so I really think like you guys are, from the mindset, the right guys who are focusing on the big problems in the world. Because when you look at this chart here, you see, like, we really have problems, especially in Europe as well. It's like, I don't know, when you open the newspapers every day, you see so many bad news and really can get the feeling like, okay, the world's really going down. Like, you all the time, what these guys are talking about is like, what the shit is happening in the world, right? So, I'm just talking about like these, I mean, this is another slide. This is like one of our co-founders, Andreas. He's live on here in CNBC, and what you see on the chart over there, it's like they're talking about youth unemployment rates in Europe. And this is crazy, like over 50% in some countries. This is like, what the hell is going on, guys? And we're running an event, for example, in Athens. And these guys are really happy about us, like coming there, giving them the hand to help them, just like to show what entrepreneurship is about, to show them a chance. What you can do, actually. Because the future is not that bad, right? What do you think about the future? Is the future really about like, okay, we're getting fucked up, or is it, okay, we can do some cool stuff? What do you think? What is the future about? What, Terminator? Some more opinions. Come on, give it to me. What do you think about the future? You think it's good? You think you will rock it with your product? You think you really have impact? You want to, I don't know, just kick off the next big thing and you help people? Maybe not, maybe, right? I don't know. I think the future looks pretty good, especially when you look about technology. And it's like technology, especially the cutting edge stuff, that this is the stuff that really can improve our lives. All right, so, but what do we need for that in the end? We need an entrepreneurial movement. So everybody in Poland already knows that, feels that, everybody who's here. And there's much more coming on all over Europe, which is pretty cool. And what I don't like is most of the startups in these days are got stuck somewhere in incremental steps. Like, I don't know, I've seen so many startups, everybody's just like, hey, I built an app for, yeah, the next flight search engine for travelers and bullshit like this, to be honest. I don't like that at all. It's like, okay, who helps that? This is already out there. Okay, maybe your product is a bit better than what the other guys are already doing. But, okay, what the fuck? It's like, okay, where are the startups focusing on exponential ideas, exponential markets, exponential technologies? One of you guys in there? Like, really, do you think about the biggest problems that we have in the world? Like, I don't know, think about water, food, energy, and so on. If you enter that, if you're a solution for that, there's a fucking huge market. And you really have impact. So, get a bit more creative about the future. Okay, so we think from pioneers, we're based in Vienna, by the way, we think we're entering a new age of pioneering. In these days, you have so many possibilities that it's just stupid if you don't start your own startup, but you really have to do something cool. Okay, I want to explain you why. These days, you have access not only to technology, but also to information, to know-how, like never before. Right? Do you agree? I mean, when I want to do a website these days, I'm not a coder or whatever, but I can build a website these days within 2 minutes, right? It's possible. You have access to, I don't know, you can build a bomb if you want. You can build, I don't know, whatever you like. Everything is available on the internet these days. And the whole world is like interconnected. So we have guys for us who are building a website, but they are based in Mumbai, in India. You can set up a Skype call with them right now if you want. They're awake, sure, they are. They're working for us, so I hope so. So it's no problem. You can talk to everybody you want in the world right now these days. That was not possible, like, I don't know, 20, 30 years before. And literally, there's this one person, think about Elon Musk, or small teams, are able to change the world, change whole industries these days. Before that, you needed like huge corporations doing some crazy stuff. These days, you have one guy who is crazy enough doing it, gets some funding, has a cool product, he's changing the whole industry. And you can do it as well with your product, what you're working on. And when you think about the cost structure, you kind of really see it pretty well here. When you think about this gigabyte of RAM, like in the 60s, what, like, I don't know, 500, what is it, 12 billion or whatever? These days, it's less like less than $1. It's like you will never be able to host Facebook like 20, 30 years before. It would just been too expensive. These days, it's possible. So you can do it, right? The costs are getting down. And what do you think right now? You see it over here. 5 billion people in 2020 will be connected to the internet. What do you think? How many are connected to the internet right now? How many people? 2? Yeah, right. Totally right number. So that means 2.5. That means like the number of people connected to the internet will double, right? Think about what all the people like you guys already contributed to the internet these days. Like all your needs, all your visions, all your dreams, what do you want to have? Like all these business models set on that to solve your problems or to give you that what you would like to have. It will double in the next few years. So if you are in the internet space somewhere working on that with your product, that's pretty awesome. You see there are totally new guys coming into it. They put their knowledge in it, their needs in it, and you can solve it. This is like new businesses will come out of that. That's pretty good. And when it's about money, I mean, anybody of you has problems with raising cash for your product, for your company? You have? Come on. I think finding an investor these days is easy as never before. Like, there are so many guys out there who really have money, and they are just looking for the great teams, for the great products, for the great ideas. So if you don't find someone who gives you money, maybe you think about your product, maybe it's shit. But if you have a good one, you would get money for sure. And then you also can ask like the crowd. You can ask Kickstarter, you can ask Indiegogo, and so on. Ask the people out there what they think about your product. All right, so all the stuff that I showed you in the last slides, it's like, okay, there is like the barriers to come up with your own startup these days is so low, like never before. You really should do it, right? But I already have like so many entrepreneurs here in the room. Okay, so that's what we call like a new age of pioneering. We're entering these days where it's simple, it's easy as never before, and you have all these resources. Okay, what do you think about Makers Movement? I also, who of you is in the web mobile stuff? All right, who of you is in the Makers Movement a bit more about hardware? Nobody? I just hope like Carolina from the 3D printer would be in here. So, yeah, okay, over there. Do you like hardware?
Yeah.
Who said yes? Raise your hand. Okay, I want to hear, yeah! Okay, why is it? Why do you like hardware? What kind of hardware do you like? That's totally right. To be honest, I love hardware. I mean, this is hardware. This is a device. Do you like your phone?
Yeah.
Seriously? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, when someone asks you, like, hey, I just want to go into Facebook, it was like at the airport, like the other day. I was there with my iPad, saying I had Wi-Fi, and someone just like, hey, you have Wi-Fi here. Can I just check my Facebook? Yeah, sure, you can. Okay. It's just, I'm not doing that much with my iPad, so take it. But with my phone, would you give your phone out of your hand to someone else that easily? Not really. Or your laptop, maybe. But your phone, never. Like, this is hardware. We are already that far that we really like the stuff that we're wearing with us. This little device makes me doing stuff I was never able to be doing before. Like, when you think about technology, what comes ahead of us, what you can do with it, this is like, it's a pretty cool thing. And it just gives us new possibilities. All right, so I'm a big fan of the Makers Movement, even if I have no idea about the whole thing. But what I try to do, who of you is doing Arduino or Raspberry Pi? 1, 2. You know what it is, Arduino? Heard about it before? Yeah, okay. So I thought, okay, I'm talking about that shit here on stage. Yeah, baby, come on. So I thought about it, cool, I'm talking about that. I want to know more about it. I want to see where's the potential going of that. Is it fun to work with it? Isn't it? What is it? So I just found these guys. They're somewhere from, I don't know, Sweden or whatever. And they just set up this book you can buy for $5. It's like, make a mind-controlled Arduino robot. And we are living in these days right now. Think about it, a mind-controlled robot. Isn't it cool as a first thing you come up with? Okay, I want to get into this hardware thing. I want to be a maker as well, and I build a mind-controlled robot. It's possible. That's me. Actually, I bought all the stuff. Like, it cost me like in some, like, I don't know, 300 euros or whatever. I have this Arduino, I'm building the robot, I have the EEG, and so on. And I can tell you one thing, this shit is working. This is awesome. It's like, I have no fucking idea about the whole thing. I don't know how to code the whole thing, but I learned it out of the book. It was like $5. And I built a robot. I would love to bring it now with me here. I could show you on stage. It's like a robot, mind-controlled. You just say this robot, drive, and it's driving. That's pretty awesome. These are the days that we're living in. That's like the access to hardware is there, and it's fun. And we're not the only guys, not only me and some other guys who are building this crazy stuff. It's like, when you look at this map, there are more than 1,000 pins in it, right? So this shows like robot makers, universities, startups, guys who are building the software for the robots, and so on. So if you ever think about going a bit more into the hardware scene, here you are. These are the guys who already are into the space. You don't hear that much about these guys yet, but there will be more in the future because they're really building the stuff that we want to use in the future. So Heather, for example. You know Heather? This picture was used on a Wired magazine as well. Her job is, for example, to make robots more social. So when you are interacting with a robot, it should be a bit more like, okay, that shouldn't look like just tech. It's just, you want to interact with it as a human. That's a pretty cool job, or like, okay, how can I make this tag look like human that I like? Or it's something that I think, oh, cool little robot, let's play with it. It's a pretty cool job. So that also means like, it's not only a boys game here, it's also like girls are into it. It's female as well, and I like that. Do you know these guys? Anybots? Who knows them? Nobody? You, maybe? Yeah? This is a pretty cool invention. Means you have this robot, and imagine you have two offices, like in, I don't know, Vienna and in Krakow. And you can control this robot, because it's standing in Krakow, but I'm living in Vienna. You can control it from your laptop. Like you are driving around with this robot in your office in Krakow. You attend meetings and all this stuff. There's little display up there, so people can see you as well. You can talk to the people and so on. This is pretty awesome. And the cool thing is like, this robot is totally well balanced. So you can try to really kick it or just push it. Yeah, it will not fall off. It will just always. It will also go back to the position where you try to kick it. It's awesome. It's really awesome. Nest. Who knows Nest? Thought so. Because when you for me it's cool. Like when you talk about people, hey, are you in artificial intelligence? Are you in robotics? People are like, whoa, what are you talking about? It's like, this is a small little device actually, and this is totally artificial intelligence. Because this one is the thermostat, and it learns about what you like. It learns about what you want and when do you want it. And then it just adjusts it by itself. And you can use it with your phone. It's like this Internet of Things. It's like, again, like bringing hardware and now also connecting with your home. It's like smart homes. It's a big market. Smart cities, big market in the future. And these guys did a really, really well-designed product. So you can go into it. And what? Yeah. Who's that? What is that? You know that? That's a real game changer. The driverless car from Google. Think about it. You're totally drunk after an after party from Bitspiration. You want to go home. Just go into the car and drive me home. Isn't that cool? And you go home with your car, not with the cab driver. So this is like, I also want to show you in the presentation like the range of, okay, like these guys who are building like the cutting edge stuff, like the really big stuff, and also like what you can do at your home. Like, I mean, Nest is just a pretty simple idea, but this is like as well AI and robotics, because there's a robot basically bringing you wherever you want to go to, right? Chris Anderson, when we met him while we've been in the Valley, he just said like the whole movement right now these days is like about the web generation. So all of you guys, you start making real stuff. And when you think about real stuff, that means like 3D printing. 3D printing, we already had it, like we had a panel yesterday, but who of you are really interested in it, because there was not that much conversation yesterday. Do you really understand what 3D printing is about? Do you think, I mean, do you really get it about like the possibilities, what you can do with it? Chris, so this guy over here, what he's saying in one of his presentations is like, you can do everything with it. It's like endless possibilities, because these days you can build your prototype at home, just print it on your desk. When you think it's fine, I mean, like, do iterations, but when you have like the final one, You just go to Alibaba.com, whatever, like other services. You get in contact with some guys over there in China. You send them over the file. You just type in, like, print for me, like, I don't know, 1,000, 10,000, a million, whatever. They don't care. They just produce it. And, well, why are you laughing? Yeah, I'm looking funny, I know. And then you just order it from there, and you don't even have to go anymore to China and eat fish eyes or whatever, being in dizzy like rooms discussing with the guys. Yeah, can we do a deal? No. Been there, done that. But this is the days they just accept your credit card, they accept PayPal, whatever, and 2, 3, whatever, 4 weeks later, you receive the product at home, and you can start selling it in your e-commerce shop that you set up. This is like, you can do everything you want. It's pretty awesome. Or I really like that from Chris Anderson as well. Like, he has kids and they are playing Sims. Who knows Sims? Right. So, but he just allows his kid like to play Sims for 2 hours or whatever a day. And then they just go into the room, they're like, oh yeah, I had to get away from the computer, but I like this stuff. And so they build up a little house where they can play Sims in real life, so to say. But then they just said, okay, but I just bought a new couch or whatever, a new sofa and a new chair, whatever. And I also want to have it in real life, but go with them to whatever, any toy store, you cannot buy it, right? So he said, okay, I built this 3D printer and put it at home, and then just like, I can design it with my kids, and then they print it at home, like just what they had in the virtual world, they bring it to the real world, and they print this stuff. It's pretty funny. Okay, then you have some other guys. Who knows Mayo? Don, you know these guys? This is like a Y Combinator startup and so on from Canada, right? Yeah. And what they are doing, they're going a step further. It's like they're bringing biology, physics, and code, and all this stuff together. So it's like they were in the video in the beginning that I showed you. It's like in Star Wars. Like, you have the Force. So you put on this band, and this tracks like what your muscles are doing and so on, and you can just really control stuff. Like the drone in the beginning of the video is like, I have the Force. You can go up with your hand, and the drone is going up as well. It's like, it's the next step of what's possible. It's pretty awesome. Okay, what does it mean? That means like, okay, we are bringing together like humans, human body, and robots, technology, and that enables us like to do stuff that we were never been able before. This is what's happening right now. And this is one of the hardware accelerators. What do you think about it? I mean, there are accelerators for startups in Europe all over the place, right? Isn't it? Yeah, guys, like, I just did a little research. I just wanted to know, and I found out about 150 approximately in Europe, which is totally crazy. What do you think? How many hardware accelerators are in the world? Give me a number. What do you think? 10? Okay, if the number is 10, you have to tell me about the 7 that you know that I don't know, because I know about 3. Yeah? So this is, for example, one of the guys, Jeremy, from Lemnos Labs, also based in the Valley. There's another one, Accelerator, it's based in Shenzhen, and Bolt as well as one of the, these are like the 3 that I know. We are talking with him, and he just also says like, okay, guys, think about what's also going on in space. So for him, like, it's like aerospace and robots are just going to explode in the future, right? So there's so much stuff going on that's in that space as well. But when we visited him, which is actually just a fucking garage, this is nothing cool or whatever. It's a garage. And we're just like, okay, what are you guys building here? It's like, yeah, these guys over there, they are building satellites. These guys are building what is it, burger assembling machine. The other guys are building a new device you can drive around, like the robot that I showed before. It's like, what the fuck, you're all the guys, you're building it in the garage. It's like, yeah, we're doing it. Who of you has been to the Valley before? Silicon Valley, San Francisco, who of you has been there? Not so many. Do it, go there. I really love it going there, because you see, my experience was like, okay, you don't have to give these guys like a great office or whatever. They are just there and they're building great stuff because they have it in their mind. That's all they need. It's like put them on a desk, give them a laptop, give them electricity, give them internet, and then it just do their magic. And this is something different. Like, for example, I talked to the guy from the German Silicon Valley Accelerator based in Berlin. And it's like always when you have a startup out of Berlin or wherever, like they just raised like 2 million euros and they think like they're fucking heroes. And they come to the valley and they just put them in an office there. And they just say like, okay, but what is this like? Because it's just a room, it's nothing special. But they think they're the heroes. It's like, no guys, you are here to work. It's like, think about all the other guys out there. They're working in garage. Like one of the 3 hardware accelerators I know in the world is based in a garage. But they're doing disruptive stuff. Drones? What comes to your mind when you think about drones? Death. Right. What else? War. Right? So when I think about drones in the first place, it's just like, okay, drones like used by the military guys and whatever. It's like just buy all the other guys out there and see what's happening in other countries. But what these guys are doing, MetaNet, what these guys are doing, for example, is pretty awesome. You always have to think about use technology to do great stuff. For sure, you can also use it for other stuff, but use it for great stuff that people helps attract mass market. So here you can go and help people really, because what they are doing, they're going into countries, for example in Africa, where it's pretty hard to get into these areas where they really need help, for example for medicine, by car, because there are no roads. But you can use these guys here, like these little drones, your friends, and they bring like the medicine over from here, we have it in your store, or in stock, and you bring it over to the place where people really need it. They use it, and it's totally autonomously that they're flying. You have nobody who's just controlling it. It's like, it's working, yeah? And the guy's using it. It's pretty cool. You have a real impact. That's what I'm talking about. You have real impact. You're using technology. You make a company out of it. And I mean, isn't that cool? You rock it, right? You know, do you know Scanadu? Scanadu? Heard about those guys? I think there's like 26 days left at the moment. What they are doing is like they're building the tricorder, like from Star Trek. You know Star Trek and the tricorder? Someone? You know it? That means like what you can do is like they're building a little device. It's like a bit bigger than this one, but you just put it on your head and it just scans everything in your body, like what's your heart rate and so on. I just ordered it. It's like $200, whatever. So that means they're building a device, a little hardware device, that really scans your body and shows, okay, how healthy are you, or are you fine or not fine, what should you do? In this video, they have another great commercial video. You see, like the little girl here, this is like really the future stuff. She's got a little device over here that's speaking with your phone, like saying, okay, she's not doing pretty well. Like little Anne, she's not doing well. I don't know, as a parent, what's wrong with her. I put it on her. And then it's just like taking all the data and showing you on the phone, okay, you should go to the doctor, or maybe it's just like she's got some fever, give her some medicine, that's it. This is like meth tech, future medicine stuff, combined with technology, what these guys are working on. Pretty awesome. What I love about this one is like when you combine technology that's already existing, and you bring it into totally new business fields. Do you see what I mean? These guys, Tetcast, is a startup. What they're doing is like they're using Kinect, which is basically for gaming, and they bring it into a surgery room where you can use it, right? I mean, think about it. There's so many other technologies out there. For you as a startup, if you don't have an idea about what you should start with or what is your next step, what are you going to do? Use technology that's already existing and it's also pretty cheap, like the Kinect, and bring it into totally other business fields, and you can disrupt the whole shit. Because there's no guy there out of the medicine area who would ever bring a Kinect into a surgery room. But you guys, if you think a bit out of the box, you can do it, right? Okay, I love Google Glass. Who of you guys have tested Google Glass? Don, you did? Sure. You did? I just did it like 3 days ago, whatever. It was like really fantastic. And now there are so many, I don't know, hackathons going on all over Europe. Just think about, okay, how can we use this device now? And think about when you bring the glass over into this one, totally new fields. You don't even have to do anything anymore with your hands. You can work with your hands on the guys who are just lying there on the table, but you just talk to a device, and it's doing the stuff that you want it to do, right? New field, disrupted. You can do it. Okay, who knows this guy? Elon. What do you think about Elon? He rocks. What else? I think Elon. Come on, Elon. For me personally, it's like, this is like the entrepreneur out there in our days. Whatever he touches, it's like, I don't know. What do you know about him? What did he do before? PayPal. What else? Tesla. SpaceX. Do you see? It's like coming from the internet industry, going over to the big hardware shit stuff. Crazy. Crazy dude. So what I want to show you with this picture is like, when we talk about entrepreneurs going into space, right? So all the fields that I told you before, it's like, he's like the big hero out in space. Like, he's doing stuff that only NASA, like big companies were able doing before. He's like doing it from the private sector. He's a fucking huge hero for me. But when it comes to space, and you bring it down again to the lower range, like, okay, here we go, like, what can small teams, what can startups, what can one person do? Then I want to show you these guys. Who knows NanoSatisfier? These are these guys. They just got a seed funding from $1 million, for example, what they're doing. They're sitting in the valley, by the way. And Peter, is it working? Oh yeah, it works. But you didn't see it. Like the guy with no hair. He's the CEO. He's a really, really smart guy. He worked for NASA before. He worked at the, I don't know, what is it? Whatever. What they are doing is like they're building satellites. I thought, okay guys, you're building satellites. So that means like a satellite is like fucking huge. Does it fit on the stage here? I have no idea. It's like, well, what are you doing? And they said, no, we were just building a nano-satellite. It's like, what you can see here, you can put it in your hand. It's like, it's just this small. It's like, okay, that's interesting. I thought it's always that big, but it's okay. And then it's like, okay, everybody can actually do it. Like, how to build it? It's in the internet. The parts for it that you need to assemble it, you just find the cheapest guys in China, wherever, and order it. And then for sure, what they're doing is like, they're shooting them up to the orbit, and you have, as an entrepreneur, you have access to them. That's like, you can rent, so to say, access to a satellite. This is like, they give a whole new platform where you can run your programs, your software on it. This is crazy, they have a patent on it. This is like, incredible. Really smart guys. Okay, so to sum it up a little bit, we were talking about the future, right? About the stuff that you can get into it and you have access to it. So this is way more than I've been talking about. You also have like here, like this AI and robotics we were talking about. You have water, food, health, energy. Education is a big market for sure, right? And also, when I show this slide, it's like, it looks like, okay, future, I should go into it, but who is really doing it? And I show you this slide that shows you this stuff is already happening. Like 3D printers, we had it yesterday on stage. We have it. Space, think about Virgin, Rich Branson, what he is doing. And there are also some other guys, I wanted to put them in the presentation as well. Some guys from Belgium who are actually doing the same thing as Richard is doing, but they do it way cheaper, and they shoot people up to the orbit as well. Just from Belgium, it's not only the US guys, it's like we in Europe, we can do it as well. Like, I don't know, do you know this car over here? This one? Sorry? This is not a Tesla. No? This is a Rimac. Or Rimac. Mate Rimac. I don't know, he's from Croatia. He is, now I think maybe he's 26 years old. He built this car, totally on his own, and it's the fastest electric car in the world. It's got like 1,000 PS. Seriously, this is crazy, and it's a fucking awesome sports car. And he was already making really good money with this car without even having sold one of those. Because he totally invented like the whole thing about how the cars should be, what kind of engines you need, what kind of parts you need, and all this stuff. And like all the other companies were coming to him, like BMW and so on, and just paid him just for using his parts, his patents. It's crazy. Okay, so we have these stuff already. It's already existing, yeah? Like, I mean, Google Glass, I'm really curious about when it really starts shipping it now. Maybe end of the year, beginning of next year. So this stuff is already there. So when it looks like future, we have it already. And you are living in these days, and you should do it as well. Okay, what do I want to see in the future even more? I want to see people who really challenge the status quo. Really step up. Do you know these guys, by the way? Extra Bionics? Did I show you a picture? No? What they are doing is like, when you are one of these guys who has to use a wheelchair, here, they build like an exoskeleton you're wearing, and you can walk again. It's crazy. It's really crazy, but it's cool. It's like we really want to have impact. That's what they said, and we show you how, and we give you the device that you need. They're doing it based in the US. Okay, so go out there, challenge the status quo. First message. Second, use innovation. Innovation. Think out of the box. Like all these examples that I showed you before, all these pictures, all these guys behind it, get inspired by them, listen to them, see what they are doing, and do your own stuff. Think out of the box. And then use the damn fucking technology that you have access to these days. And as I showed you, I'm building a mind-controlled robot. You can do it as well. This is no rocket science anymore. And it's cheap. It's also what I showed you before. Like, it just costs you a few $100s. So use the technology, because the technology is like, I understand technology as the key that opens, so to say, the door going into the future. And bring it together, bring innovation and bring technology together, and then become the entrepreneur who's fucking his rocket startup out of the office. It's like, bring it all together and you can do it. And become this guy. All right, and when you have that, this is, for example, why I love my job. Because this pioneering spirit, like talking to these guys who are building the future, being in contact with them, thinking about all this stuff, reading about it, being interested in it. This becomes an attitude of life. I get up every morning and say, okay, what's happening today? And don't open the newspaper. That's what I told you in the beginning. Like when you open a newspaper, basically it's like, okay, there's another crisis, whatever. But when you just turn to the next page, then you just start realizing, okay, there's a cool future ahead of us. And when you get that and we are into that field, and when you want to do that as well, then the whole pioneering stuff, so to say, becomes an attitude of life. And then it's a nice challenge to take, right? Okay, if you think, I have 7 minutes left, pretty good. If you think all that stuff that I was talking about is pretty cool, I don't know, do you think so? Was it good? Not? Yeah? We have an event for that. We're running one of the, so to say, biggest conferences in Europe. It's called Pioneers Festival. It's in the end of October. You should go there. Ask other guys, Don, just sitting next to you, he was a speaker last year, and some other guys as well. Where we have positioned ourselves, like at the intersection of entrepreneurship and future technologies. Like we bring all that I've been talking about, we bring them on stage. We showcase it. We bring you as a young entrepreneur together, not only with the investors that they're looking for, but with these guys who are really building the future. And it's not only software, but it's also hardware. All right, I want to show you a little video, if you're ready for the second video, just to get you a bit better. Yeah. So this is happening end of October in Vienna. You should go there. We're running a lot of stuff for startups as well. We'll show you. Because we haven't announced that much about the conference yet. We just showed like, I don't know, 5 speakers or something like this. But I will tell you a bit more about it. Because we have 2 stages there. We have one stage, like the arena, this is like for the inspirational talks. And we have one, the academy, that shows, or that should give you, like, when you participate as an entrepreneur in a conference, what do you expect? I think you invest time, maybe you invest money in a ticket, and what do you want to get back? It's not only about like the networking that you have, the contacts that you get with talking to people, but also the content on stage really has to be good. Like you have your takeaways out of it, right? So this is what we're focusing on. Because in other conferences you have like guys going on stage, like big guys maybe, they show you like what they did in the past and their hockey sticks and everything. Woo, yeah, and everybody thinks like, cool, I thought this guy on stage. But where's the takeaway? And this is exactly the point where we start, because we really want to give you the knowledge that you need to scale up your startup to be really successful. Okay, when it comes to arena, we have some really cool guys on stage. And just some, we'll have like 56 speakers. Like, do you know Neil Harbison? You know him? You seen him? He has a really, really good TED talk, because he's a cyborg. He's colorblind. And what he did is, like, you see the little device coming out, coming out of his brain, so to say, out of his head. He can hear colors. So this is a crazy guy. Cool. We will have him, for example. The Anibot I showed you before, we will have it running around everywhere in the venue. We'll have a live showcasing of the exobionic guys. So someone who's really disabled, someone who's really sitting in a wheelchair, he will do it live on stage. Pretty cool. Looking forward to it. Then we have some other guys like Tracky Body, Walter from Scanadu, the guys who are doing the tricorder. We will have them as well, for example. We have Patrick with us, who is from Stripe. You know Stripe? Stripe? Sure. You know, it's one of the startups in the Valley of San Francisco that's just going through the roof. Like now they have like, I don't know, 40 millions or whatever what they raised, something like this. But for me, as the co-founder or CEO, who knows Christopher Alberg? He's using big data to predict, predict the future. Like one of his investors is the CIA. Like he has an office in Langley, which is pretty awesome. Okay, when it comes to the academy now, really, we want to show you a bit like what can you do with music and technology. That's why we have like the guys from Shazam with us. It's also, as you've seen in video, it's not a snooze fest that we're organizing. It's like a really cool festival. It's young, it's emotional. Bolt, one of the 3 hardware accelerators that I know is coming. By the way, if you know more hardware accelerators, tell me please about it. Ben is coming, and who of you knows Tech Shop? It's great. So when you talk about Tech Shop, and Don, you don't know Tech Shop? You do, right? Yeah, I mean, Tech Shop is awesome. It's like, what do you describe it? It's like a workshop or like a space where you have 3D printers, you have everything you need to put your hardware stuff together. And I don't know, Autodesk is invested in these guys. You don't know it? Seriously? So, Jim, for example, he's coming as well as one of the co-founders and show you just like what you can build in their space. And here's like from the academy side, like, okay, you as an entrepreneur, you want to do sales right, talk to Staley. He is a former YC guy. He, for example, was in the same batch as Dropbox. And now he's got his own startup running. It's called Elastic Sales. Pretty good. David is coming from SoundCloud, talking about community building and with a startup. And if you think about growth, so how can I scale it up, then Andy is pretty much the right guy, because he's like the growth brain behind Twitter, Facebook, and so on. He's a 500 startups mentor as well. So you should talk to him. And then we have some female power. We need more girls in tech, right? Don't we? Okay, so we have like Sita. She's one of the investors from London, from Connect Ventures. She will talk about, okay, the team and what you will have like when you really think about the company culture. And if you want to have something about metrics, then Daniela is the right person to talk about it. And you guys are startups, so you should apply for our Pioneers Challenge. We have pitches on stage. My time is over, and you can exhibit your startup as well as an exhibition, like what we had here. Do it, use it, go out there, love it, Thank you very much.